Hey, this is Stu.
Hey, I'm Tink.
Do you have it?
Goods.
Do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it?
All right, guys. Take two.
So sad.
So sad. That's all right. We were a little bit too crazy with it the last time, I think.
Yeah.
This will be a much more level-headed, still fun, but definitely more cohesive.
Well, maybe.
Episode.
See, now, I think last time it got crazy because of alcohol. This time
Yeah.
it might get crazy because of sleep deprivation.
That's true.
So, we try to theme these shows around... we try to theme the beers that we drink around the show. So, Stu's girlfriend Robin found this stuff called Golden Monkey, which apparently is very popular. I had lots of people comment on it.
Really?
Yes,
I never
Golden
heard of
Monkey. I forget, what was the brewing company name? Sorry.
Victory.
Victory. And I didn't know they were high grab. I guess I should have been able to tell just from tasting.
We were both 2 beers in. We were like, this is delicious. Just drinking it like it was something we could keep doing. And then I think at one point you asked, like, wait, what is this beer? And we looked at it as 9.5% alcohol by volume.
It's funny because I felt great up until the very second that you told me what the alcohol volume.
And
I was like,
that was the falling off
hey,
point.
what is the alcohol content of this? It just like went downhill so quickly.
So yeah, this episode of the broadcast is brought to you again by At Ease Bath Products. You can go to their Facebook page and order some awesome essential oil, all natural, organic bath salts. Not the kind that make you eat faces, the kind that put you in a nice restful mood.
Yeah, which, to those people, they might be in a restful mood in their mind.
That's true. Don't snort these. It would be very bad for you.
It might be painful.
Yeah, but your insides would smell great.
Yeah, make your insides snort them. Is that a thing?
I don't know.
All right, sleep deprivation.
Sleep deprivation. Awesome.
Let's talk about some kids game shows.
Let's talk about some kids game shows, man. That's this is a fun thing to research and study. It was a nice trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
A lot of nostalgia involved.
And then maybe the second time around we'll know even more, or sound like we do.
Yeah, I didn't brain dump. I never brain dump until after the edit. So
yeah. So you still have it up there?
I still have a good bit of it.
It's lingering around.
It's hanging around. I gotta make sure there's nothing I gotta go back and like talk over.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I guess I'll go ahead and kick things off here because maybe we want to move through this a little quicker than last time. Last time it was like almost a 2-hour long show.
Yeah, we'll make this one reasonable.
But it was fun. Anyway, the first kids game show that I could find in my research, and it was one that I tried to avoid heavily as a kid.
Oh yeah.
It was the Bozo Show.
Bozo the Clown.
Bozo the Clown. You might not think it's a kids show or like a kids game show, but it was.
Yeah, it had it was like a kids variety hour kind of thing, but there was a lot more of a game show element to it.
Right, and I'm sure most of you saw it on Sunday mornings or Sunday afternoons whenever they would try to air it to get the after church crowd to watch some wholesome family television.
Hey, watch an old man play with kids.
Yeah, I just read that the first clown was an English acrobatic clown named Wimpy. That was the first Bozo. I didn't read that the first time. We just kind of moved on past it. But yeah, I think the guy most of us saw was Ray Rayner.
Yep.
He was the main Bozo guy. And if we're getting any of this wrong, it's because I don't think either of us really care about Bozo.
No, but this is we're trying to hit this fairly chronologically, and that's just the first one that comes up.
Yeah, and if you've ever seen The Simpsons, Krusty the Clown is heavily based on Bozo.
To include the alcoholism, I'm sure.
Yes, definitely. And every once in a while, a kid in the audience would get killed by accident. The studio would have to cover it up. But
I remember my memory of it is, especially like the old Chuck E. Cheese back when I'd go, was you had that game. It was like 5 buckets and ping pong balls that you had to try and ring.
Yeah.
That for some reason all laws of space and physics absolutely didn't exist around that area.
So you already hated Bozo. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
You played this and you hated him even more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It just seemed like a show that my dad would watch. You know what I mean? Like that and Captain Kangaroo, that ilk, which is not bad, but
I had that.
we had better entertainment at that point.
I had that real lamb chop kind of quality to it.
Oh, lamb chop. Yeah.
Help me out here. Skinnamarink Dinky Dink, Skinnamarink Doo.
Oh, that was Sharon Lois and Brand's Elephant Show.
That is exactly what it was.
And
That's what I think of when I think of it. Also,
I think Sharon maybe Sharon died like in the past few months.
Really?
Actually. Yeah. So sad stuff.
R.I.P.
All right.
Skinnamarink Dinky Dink.
On to Finders Keepers. Which
This is where I enjoy it.
yeah, this is the first, I guess, Nickelodeon game show that I could really find that people watched.
Yeah.
I mean, there are others that, a lot of obscure things from Canada.
Yep. We found out afterwards, I didn't realize it, but Finders Keepers originated in England.
England.
It was a British TV show.
And then Canada co-opted it?
Canada and the U.S. picked it up. It just like we do with like Dancing with the Stars and all that shit.
Yeah, The Office.
Yeah.
I used to enjoy the heck out of this show for whatever reason.
I like the I really like the idea of it.
It's just a bunch of kids looking at pictures and putting fruit roll-ups on images that they find.
Awful pictures too, because I mean this is before computer graphics or any of that were feasible for a daily TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So they just had these big matte paintings that they would do.
Yeah.
That it wasn't like we've cleverly hidden an umbrella in this. It's just literally the outline of an umbrella in a picture that you have to look at.
Yeah, like in the desert sky. Oh, okay. Yeah, but it wasn't. What's the time frame here? I just lost my
6:20.
6:20. See, this is already happening.
It's all right, man.
Ah! Yeah, there wasn't anything special about the show's I guess production values or anything. It was
no.
Plus like can you imagine watching this on like a 1988 like big tube TV?
Oh yeah, no, you were getting some pretty bad quality
Yeah.
image coming through, I'm sure.
The kid like finds the object and you're still looking like, what the heck, is that an object?
Yeah, and it's funny because the kids, like, the paintings aren't great, and the kids are standing like 20 feet away.
Yeah. How do they see?
They must have been eating their Wheaties or something. They had a ridiculous ability to spot it. So based off of cryptic clues, you had to run up and grab the thing and slap it up, and then depending on how many of those questions you got right were how many rooms in this big house you got to go trash looking for more actual objects that some asshole just went through and stuffed into the most crazy places that they could think of.
Yep.
No, you had to look under the toilet, but inside the holder. Like, it's just...
Well, all I know is I wanted to eat those little pieces of stuff they put on the objects so badly.
Yeah, they do. It's a real fruit roll-up quality to it. I don't know what. It's like just like a giant fruit
I
roll-up.
bet it's plastic, but I still would try to bite it.
Yeah, you'd put it in your mouth just to make sure.
Exactly.
Like,
all right. Finders Keepers.
Finders Keepers.
Oh, man. Last time I think we talked a good 30 minutes about Finders Keepers.
We don't need to do that this time.
Yep. Oh, man. Golden Monkey. What did you do? Did you ever watch the show Funhouse?
I don't think I did. The only Funhouse I really saw was like Saturday TV Funhouse.
Okay, well, there's nothing special about this, so we'll just say there was a show called Funhouse. We're gonna get along to the good stuff quicker this time.
Yep.
Here we go. This is one that most of you might not recall. I remember the hell out of this amazing show.
I learned a little bit about it.
There was a video game-based game show called Video Power.
Video Power.
It was all about extreme coolism in video games, and the host is the most obnoxious, coke-addled
this was like the
fiend.
X Games and Mountain Dew had an awesome baby.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this is pretty much like mid-90s extreme before the mid-90s.
Absolutely. This is like Zach Morris high-fiving a can of Mountain Dew.
Pretty much.
It really is that.
This guy has Zach Morris hair.
Yep.
His name was Stevie Pistosky. Yes, and I think he's like a legit actor now.
He did some character role stuff like on Law and Order and CSI and all that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was like suspect number 3 or
Dead body.
Dead body number 12 or something like that. Yeah, he had bit parts.
Man, that episode has a body count of 12.
Oh, I've seen some crazy episodes of Law and Order.
Yeah, I mean,
mostly SVU.
Do they often get into the 12s or the 20s?
No, but when they do, it's pretty spectacular.
Is that the one with Ice-T?
That is the one with Ice-T.
Okay,
that's my favorite one. And USA, at any given time in the day, if you turn on the USA Network, you're probably going to be watching Law and Order SVU.
It's crazy how the times change, because back in like 1997, it was always Problem Child or Problem Child 2.
Yeah.
Those are the only movies or anything that they showed on USA. And
Speaking of which, I met Gilbert Godfrey recently. Nice guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you said he like didn't do the
voice. when he's actually just speaking to you, he's actually, believe it or not, he's fairly soft spoken.
And his like eyes are like open.
His eyes were fully open. We had eye contact, not through crazy slit eyes.
Wow.
But I digress.
Did you ever? I just didn't know if you asked him about whether or not that like scalding hot pizza like really burned his face.
I never got around to that one, unfortunately. Okay. It was more of a, oh my god, thank you so much for doing what you do. You're so awesome. And he was like, yeah, cool. Can I just sign this and get the fuck out of here, please?
So the entire point of Video Power was for Stevie to brag about his knowledge of video games to these 8-year-old kids.
Yeah, and then make himself look better in post-production.
Exactly, because the kid would ask him, "Oh yeah, how do you defeat the boss in level 2 of Double Dragon?" Or I was just thinking of some random game.
Kick. Punch, kick.
Yeah, and he would go into this like freaking soliloquy where you could tell there's no audience.
Yeah,
he recorded it after.
He would answer the audience question beforehand and be like, I don't know, play the game, figure it out. And then later on he'd go back after consulting an expert and be like, oh, well, you're totally going to do this and this and this.
After calling the 1-900 tip line.
On the back of the game box.
Yep, he I bet that's where half the budget for the show went.
just
calling the tip lines.
Some intern sitting back there like, I fucking hate this job.
Hey, Stevie! You losing it?
There were two kinds of questions that these kids would ask. One was a general because we didn't have, there was no internet. There was maybe an issue of Nintendo Power that you had been waiting for months and months for to hopefully talk about it.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh, I really need that Ninja Gaiden code. Fuck, Contra. Okay. September, maybe.
Yep.
Fingers crossed.
2 years later, you finally get it, and you've already thrown that game in the garbage.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, I gave that to Goodwill weeks ago. Shit. But there were two kind of questions. One was, I need genuine help with this. Can you please just point me in a direction? Mm-hmm. And the other was, so do you know Dr. Light's first name? Or like it was like stump the expert kind of idea. And of course, like he's like, no, I have sex. I go out and I get laid and I do lines of coke in public restrooms. That's what I do.
And then he asks
but then they go back in post production the next day. He just shows up in the same clothes because he never really went to sleep.
Yeah.
And he
what
Thunder.
Was that?
That was Thunder.
Was that Thunder?
I think so.
It felt like your house was going to collapse.
And they go back in post production and just like, oh, Dr. Light's first name is totally Herbert.
Herbert Light.
I guess. I don't know.
I
don't actually know the Dr. Light's first name.
I don't know if he has a first name.
Doctor.
Dr. Light.
His first name is Doctor.
He's not really a doctor. He's like a self-proclaimed doctor. he's like he's the Dr. Oz of that universe.
Dr. Oz is an actual doctor, just not a good one.
Wait, there's one that's not a real doctor.
Dr. Phil's an actual doctor too.
I swear
there's a theory that he is, but he actually is a clinical psychologist. Shout out to Dr. Phil.
I have to look all this up. Uncle Phil. Uncle Dr. Phil.
Don't Dr. Uncle Phil.
Don't.
I can't speak, man.
Dunkle Phil. I like that. Anyway, as you can tell, we are both drained from having had. You know what?
Living life.
Maybe we might just put up the raw audio of the other podcast
just so people can compare it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God! What a good time up until about the hour and 15-minute mark, and then things started going
9.5%. I think it's almost like they hide a code word. It's like the Manchurian Candidate, where once you say 9.5%. That's when the golden monkey kicks in, and it just comes and just fucking beat your ass.
And we probably took a couple of shots at some famous people or like some kind of politicians after this. I don't even remember it. I don't even remember having a gun, but maybe I do.
I woke up and I was covered in somebody else's blood. I don't know.
Crazy night with Golden Monkey.
I just call that Thursday.
So they have the question round.
They had the question round.
Well, yeah, and then I think he asks the kids questions. It'll be like, what's the name of the ice guy in Mega Man 1?
Yeah.
And the
Iceman.
And they'll have
Good job, Billy.
Their names are all Billy,
yes,
by
they
the
are.
way. Product of the time. And so, and then if you, I think like the top 2 or 3 will go up against each other in a video game challenge round.
Yeah, the one we watched, it was 4 kids and they were playing Batman.
Yeah.
And they all had to like get through to a higher score. Whoever
Yes.
got to the highest score got to go through the physical challenge round.
They mostly sucked.
It was not good.
Yeah. They didn't know how to wall jump, which, come on.
And that was actually like a really good Batman game too.
Yeah, it's a Sunsoft Batman game. If I get the audio for this, I will toss in a Sunsoft Batman audio clip.
Awesome.
Here. If you give me the time on it, I will
16
light it up.
flat.
But the
ISIS, please. Can you grab that for me?
Having a great time.
ISIS, why do you want to play with that here and now?
And then, okay, the winner of the video game round, I think, is the one who goes on to this quote-unquote awesome challenge at the end where they wear a suit covered in Velcro.
They wear football pads and they run through inside the inside of a discovery zone.
Did you actually go back and watch that part? Like later?
A little bit,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
They like throw themselves against stuff and hope stuff sticks to them.
Yeah, there's like video game cartridges, which not a lot of great games that I remember. A lot of like, battle chess and that type of deal.
Battle chess.
Yeah, and it was not. I mean, it was fun to watch, but honestly, it loses its luster quickly.
Yeah, there's not a lot of gold in that.
Yeah. Plus, this is like the era of regular Nintendo and the first Sega Mega Drive. Like,
Yeah.
all these like games.
A lot of LJN titles.
Oh my god, a lot of LJN. The only one that I care about, by the way, is the Friday the 13th game.
Really?
Yes, I love that stupid game. It's terrible.
The one where you're running through the woods and you got to get into the cabins
Yep,
and every now and then
will
Jason pops up.
randomly. Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah. But hey, I can do an episode about LJN. I could talk.
We should do an episode about LJN.
It'll
'cause
be
those
a
were
5-hour podcast.
Those
Yes.
were shit.
Yes, and they never got good.
No, they didn't.
So,
that fucking rainbow was not a seal of.
Not at all.
It was not a guarantee.
I think they were like a subsidiary of Acclaim or something. And Acclaim never made a good game either.
Were they?
Yeah. So, because it was like one of those deals where at that time there was a limit to how many games your company could publish a year. So all these companies would be like, well, they'll make this other fake company so they can publish X amount of games under that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's why what's it called? Konami had Ultra games, and that was what Ninja Turtles was released under.
Okay.
Ultra. So those were made by the guys at Konami.
Gotcha.
So yeah, interesting stuff, I guess.
Cool.
Anyway,
Hard to believe the same people that did my favorite series, Metal Gear, made one of the hardest and most terrible games I've ever played in the form of
first
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, it's not good, but I like it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's like one of those like challenging but not.
It's like that bad
impossible.
relationship. You just keep going. You're like, I don't need to text her, but it's 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I just,
Yep.
what you doing, Sarah?
Hey, can I eat this whole pizza out of your sewer? Hey, how come I
God.
can't swim even though I'm a turtle?
Yeah.
Answer me, Sarah. Next up, we'll get into stuff people are more familiar with. Did you ever watch Double Dare?
Of course I watched Double Dare. I was a bigger fan of Family Double Dare than I was regular Double Dare.
Okay.
But, yeah, I had a lot of fun with Double Dare.
Yeah, at first it was Super Sloppy Double Dare.
Oof.
You remember those days?
Kind of gross.
And this was the era of children's entertainment where all we wanted to see was
Farts and stuff.
Yeah, all we wanted to see was farts and boogers.
Yeah.
And we thought that was the most clever and hilarious of things. I mean, sure, boogers and farts are the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And I still laugh at them
Not to say
every
they're
time
not
anyone
funny.
even mentions them. But
You can't. It's hard to base a whole primetime roundup around Farts and Boogers. Like if they had had a 3-hour show just called Farts and Boogers, that would have been the same effect. Honestly,
we would have had a good time watching it.
Yep.
So this was hosted by Mark Summers.
He
Mr. OCD.
He really is the poster boy for what we're talking about. I feel like
kids game shows. Yeah. Well, he like hosted 2 of the big ones in the 90s.
He had Double Dare and Family Double Dare, and then he had What Would You Do?
Yeah.
And then anybody younger is going to recognize him now. Maybe you watch the Food Network, but he was the Good Eats guy.
Yes.
Which I always thought was a super show. A super cool show.
I guess he wouldn't touch the candy. He would as far as I remember, he would take a pole that was about 6 feet long, and he would pick the candy up, and it took him a couple tries because it's a pole. And then he would raise it up and drop it into his mouth from way up in the sky because he wouldn't touch it.
What Tink is referring to is Mark Summers a few years ago went on the Oprah Winfrey Show and talked about I guess came out as being somebody who lived with obsessive compulsive disorder. From what I saw, and it's funny because he was in these super sloppy shows, and he always talked about having a really good time and how he always wanted to be a host and that was his perfect job. But then he'd get home and take 6-hour-long showers just to try and clean himself off.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, we all took those long showers after we watched the show.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's I think there was something ingrained in the show that
just something about slime. You're like, oh, it's still on me.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. You can't do that on television. I feel like that show ruined it.
That really
and it's all Canada. It all goes back to Canada.
Crafty Canadians.
Yeah, crafty. I guess that's one word to describe them.
And it's alliterative.
Crafty Canadians. They eat craft dinner a lot.
They do.
Man.
They're big fans of KD, is what they call it. Yeah. KD and poutine.
They eating that mac and cheese every day.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's a shout out for our one Canadian listener that I know we have because I saw it on the stats. So.
All right, this is for you, guy or girl from Canada. Some of the challenges. Oh my god! Well, first of all, there was a trivia challenge, and the trivia questions were always things like, what has whiskers and drinks milk? A cat, a piece of paper, or you? You know what I mean? And every once in a while, you would get a kid or a family that would choose the joke answer.
Yeah, just and then it's
embarrassing.
No, you just lost $100 trying to be funny, dipshit.
Yep.
Some of the questions though, that was a show that was very of its time because I remember and I wrote it down because it struck me. I was just like, oh my god! And the question was, what is the name of the Dirty Dancing sequel soundtrack? Now, not the sequel movie to Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, that didn't come out until years later.
Which was Havana Nights.
Havana Nights.
Which was direct to DVD, I think. But apparently, the movie soundtrack for Dirty Dancing did so well, they produced a second soundtrack from it.
Yeah.
And they wanted to know what the name of that was. That was the answer. And the teenage girl with the super permed hair was like, it's more Dirty Dancing. Oh my god, I totally know that.
Yeah.
Which I think her parents gave her kind of a sideways look on that one, like, why are you listening to that? What? Did you buy that with our money?
I mean, honestly, it's Nickelodeon. I'm surprised every answer wasn't just booger farts. I was like, well, this is the second album produced. I think it was Dirty Dancing Booger Farts. Yeah, that's it. Good job. Exactly.
And Mark Summers just goes and kills himself off screen.
But he has that, he's cursed. He's like a vampire.
He just keeps coming back. Every time he wakes up, it's Groundhog Day. He just wakes up and then has to go talk to another stupid family.
Yep, and today's the day where he's going to have to be happy about telling a kid to reach into this ear and pull out a red flag for a bunch of nasty earwax.
Seriously, though, some of those families, I don't know if there was just a complete disconnect or they didn't plan. Like, if I'm a parent and I'm going on to Family Double Dare, we're going to watch a couple episodes, and we're going to strategize. We're going to have a series of strategy meetings for when we get to that goddamn obstacle course.
They all went in blind.
Absolutely. It was like they had never... It's like they
haven't left the house.
Seriously. It's like, have you never climbed a ladder or swung on some monkey bars before? What is going on with you? Why are you purposely doing this wrong?
You could tell most of the dads are they have glasses and they're bald and they're chubby. You know what I mean? So,
there was a lot of because this was back when it was all filmed at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, and a lot of their studio audience, and I think for a lot of the shows, their actual contestants were people that had gotten pulled out of the park. who just like, hey, we want to go see this, and they were like, oh, you want to be a contestant? Kind of a Price is Right vibe to it.
You got a fanny pack.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. There were a lot of fanny packs and Hawaiian shirts, a lot of dads in shorts.
Yep.
With some socks and sandals happening.
Is that like still the look of tourists? Or
It really is. I went to Universal Studios and Disney World about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was wearing comfortable sneakers and shorts and sunglasses, but I looked like I knew how to dress myself.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Tommy Bahama kind of gear walking around.
Oh no. Well,
I don't know what it is about. I think when you hit 40, you're just like, fuck it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of reminds me of, you remember, was it with Toe Jam and Earl 2?
Oh, yeah.
That game, Panic on Funkatron?
Yes, I do remember
that. I just, like, always think of those, like, the characters you have to rescue in that as your stereotypical.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, anyway, dad's trying to dig a booger out of a fake nose.
Or trying to get their kids to hurry up doing it. Like, go faster.
Yeah.
We talked about this.
I'm so disappointed in you, Billy. And Billy's like wading through macaroni and cheese or whatever. Grits. No.
Week-old popcorn.
That's what it was. Week-old popcorn.
It was like this 3x9x6 box of just popcorn that they scraped up off the floors of every theater in the Orlando area and thrown into a trunk that you have to wade through.
Just like, what if the studio executives just hated Mark Summers, and so after every taping they were just like, all right, boys, grab him, and they would just like dip him in the popcorn pit. He's going, no, please don't. I don't know why he sounds like Arnold, but so yeah, after X family wins or loses the
way more losses.
Physical challenge, as they call it. You have way more losses. And this is going to be a theme that continues throughout every one of these shows from here on out. It's just the worst possible people are chosen. Just people without any physical ability, people without any mental prowess.
It's ridiculous.
So they would get a prize pack depending on what they won.
It's like, oh, you win a pair of BK Nights per person. You win a popcorn, a microwave designed specifically and only for popcorn. And
you put anything else in it and it like kills you.
It's just some really weird. One kid was playing and he was playing for a TV, and then he was playing for videotapes. And then he was playing for a VCR.
You're playing for blank videotapes. Oh,
well, it was like the
Young Guns 2,
whatever movie collection, and it was just every movie that this particular production studio had ever put out.
But it's like cheap stuff, right?
Oh yeah, it wasn't good. I didn't recognize any of the titles.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, I think at the same time, around this same time, there was Nickelodeon was a free channel basically. They were competing with...
It was basic cable.
Yes. And they were competing with the Disney Channel, which was a premium channel.
Yes, it was.
With Disney money, right after, Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid and stuff came out. Yeah. So they were friggin' rolling. So they had all this money. And I actually read a statistic a few years ago that was, it showed that, like, you could tell if a kid generally was poor or rich growing up, depending on which of those two channels they watched. I knew some kids that watched both, so they were ultra rich. Yeah. But I guess they're trashy since they watched Nickelodeon. Because I watched only Nickelodeon, and then we had the stuff on Disney Channel. We have like one of those like little things you screw onto the back of your TV that can
one of the illegal boxes.
Yeah, they can like scramble the channel, and we had that for the Disney Channel, and I would watch Tailspin and Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers.
That's Tink.
Yeah, come on. Come after me, Charter
FCC.
1992. And so, you can, like, tell someone's basic
income.
But,
their class.
You could also tell their, just how poor this channel was because of the prize packs that they give away.
Oh, my God.
British Knights. Do they even make those anymore?
Lots of LA gear.
Lots
of LA gear.
LA Lights. Every once in a while you get a trip to
Nickelodeon moon shoes.
Oh, dude, I have a pair of those.
Do you?
They're
Still?
Garbage. Yeah, they're in my closet in Alex City.
Okay, we might have to break those out sometime.
You're not gonna like it. Floam.
Gak.
Nickelodeon products. But yeah,
green slime shampoo.
Mom's gonna love this.
Wash the dog with it.
It's totally toxic.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you would have they would be like, oh, and also an N64 or
yeah,
like a Sega Genesis.
They broke out the they had like a super special prize closet that they would once in a blue moon crack open.
That was on like a very, very special episode.
Yeah, the executive would have to come down and unlock it himself. Like he was the only guy with the key.
And then he would stop by and dunk Mark Summers into the popcorn bucket on his way up. Up yours, Mark. I don't know why they hate him so much.
He seems like such an affable guy.
Yeah, he's nice. All right, let's move on from Double Dare.
All right, what do we got?
There's enough gross stuff for now. Wild and Crazy Kids.
Wild and Crazy Kids. That was a fun one.
Yeah, Wild and Crazy Kids
launched the career of Omar Gooding.
Yeah, launched his career into a slightly higher stratosphere.
Yeah, he went from hosting that at like 14 to 16 to being on Smart Guy on the Disney Channel.
Oh man, he did move on up.
Yeah.
So
that was him. You could see where he broke out into another tax bracket was when they accepted him at the Disney Channel.
Yeah, I guess he was like asking for money from you know what's his name, Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah,
wouldn't give it to him.
But Wild and Crazy Kids was fun. It was 3 slightly older kids trying to host and contain a lot of slightly younger kids doing different challenges and games and team events. It was like summer camp on TV.
A lot of water balloons.
Yeah,
they should have called it Wild and Crazy Water Balloons.
Yeah, they were gonna do Wet and Wild and Crazy Kids, but then they got they realized that was already trademarked by Hustler.
Yeah, there we go. See, I think we were both going a similar directions of what we were going to say. I had a huge crush when I was a kid on what's her name? Chavez. Annette Chavez.
Yes, she was super cute.
And you had a crush on the other girl, Jessica
Chastain.
Gaines.
Not Chastain. Gaines. I do have a crush on Jessica Chastain though.
Yeah, well, who doesn't, right?
Right.
I'm sure there's some Donnie Jeffcoat fans out there.
I'm sure he was the '90s super. He had the hair. He had that '90s hair.
He was Zach Morris hosting a kids game show.
Yep.
That's the second Zach Morris reference.
It's the '90s, man. There's gonna be lots of them.
Yeah, I'm trying not to, but you can't help it sometimes.
He was the '90s.
Yeah, he really was.
It's hard to not.
Yeah.
Focus in on that.
Late 80s into like 1990, 6 or something, into the college years. That's when people started giving up on him.
I've seen terrible
Dead Man on Campus.
I have seen Dead Man on Campus, which wasn't great. I've also seen because my morning routine when I was going to middle school and high school was I could watch 2 episodes of Saved by the Bell on TBS before I had to go and catch the bus. So they would run it from Good Morning Miss Bliss all the way through high school and into the college years, and then they just recycle it.
Yep.
So I've seen every episode of the college years, and I'm not proud of that.
Dude, the college years sucks.
They were awful.
It has the guy from Better Call Saul in it as the professor.
It does. I forgot about him.
Yeah. I guess that's the only actor on that show now that I think is currently working.
Gilbert Gottfried was in it.
Zach is also working. Wait, Gilbert Gottfried was on college years?
He was the officiant of their wedding because Zach and Kelly got married, and that's how they wrapped up the entire thing. So you had the Zach and Kelly's wedding in Vegas, which that was their way of ending it.
Was that like a made-for-TV movie special or something?
Yeah, pretty much. It was like 4 episodes that they put into a movie.
Yeah, I guess Tori didn't get into college. Is that what happened?
Dude, Tori existed in an alternate universe.
Okay.
Because you know the story of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to go into detail here.
We'll do a
Wikipedia. Well, I'm sure we'll break into Saved by the Bell at some point.
I mean, we can do an entire thing.
I'm pretty sure that there was 2 coexisting universes, and Tori was in one, and Tiffany Amber Thiessen was in the other.
So these 2 universes, like, one exploded, one hit the sun, and killed them all. And that was the Tori universe.
Yes.
Okay, so they're all dead.
Yes.
All right.
John Connor got killed. Terminator was successful. Skynet.
Oh, so Terminator and Saved by the Bell, Tori.
Same universe.
In the same universe.
Yep. Tori, or it turns out that Kelly was the mother of John Connor.
Oh.
So Terminator came back in time, killed her. Tori came in.
Okay, and Tori was like a T-1000.
Tori was the T-1000 that did the
explains
job.
the leather jacket.
Yes, it
right?
does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man,
so there you go.
I love it when these worlds come together.
I now want to go and write that fan fiction. I'm going to get onto fanfic.net and I'm going to cross-reference, I'm going to cross-search Saved by the Bell and Terminator. And hopefully I'm going to be the first guy.
Oh, God.
Please submit your fan fiction, your Terminator Saved by the Bell fan fiction.
I think this is one time where you will be the first.
I think.
You know?
It's one of those Rule 34s that hasn't come about yet.
Yeah.
Although now that I've spoken it into existence, I'm sure. Somebody, somewhere.
You know what would be a good crossover?
What's that?
Wild and Crazy Things. Like, wild,
Jesus Christ.
Wild Things, but with the Wild and Crazy Kids.
Okay, Denise Richards, she also did a spot on a couple of episodes, the Hawaiian Vacation.
No.
Not the Hawaiian, yeah, it was the Hawaiian Vacation.
Oh,
She was
with what's his name's wife, Kevin James' wife.
Yes.
Whose name I...
Denise Richards, that was her first TV show.
Oh.
And
Well, nice.
she was kind enough in the 90s to do Starship Troopers.
Yes.
And then
Wild Things.
Not Wild Things. I was too young for that one.
Okay.
But she did Starship Troopers, and then she did The World Is Not Enough, which is my least favorite James Bond movie.
I skipped like I watched Goldeneye and I loved it.
It was
and
great.
I skipped all like 2 or 3 of the next Pierce
They weren't
Brosnan
good.
ones. Okay.
Tomorrow Never Dies was okay.
Which one had Halle Berry?
That was Die Another Day.
Okay, Die Another Day.
And that was
Tomorrow
the one that
Never
Madonna
Dies.
did the...
Yeah. Die Another Day. Yeah, I remember that song.
I'm gonna wake up. Yes and no. Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah. She had a string of doing terrible
God, she
movie.
did. She fucking
movie
decided,
soundtracks.
oh, hey, I'm gonna redo American Pie. It'll be great.
Yep.
Ugh.
And then Weird Al did it, and he actually made that song listenable to me.
That was his pretty great.
All right. Anyway, we actually somehow went way far more off topic.
You
than
said
when we,
Denise
than when we
Richards.
were drunk.
You said Denise, that's what I was gonna say. Is she was kind enough in the '90s when I was just kind of discovering girls to do The World's Not Enough and Starship Troopers back to back.
I love Starship Troopers.
And I absolutely fell in love with Denise Richards.
I mean, she's the worst actress.
Yeah,
But-
she's not good.
But
I'm
seems nice.
still mad at Charlie Sheen
Oh yeah.
for ruining her. In my mind, he sullied her.
Yeah. He somehow tainted Brie Olsen. You know. How can you do this?
Right?
Yeah. Anyway, Wild and Crazy Kids. I think whatever. We have enough of this.
Yeah.
It's summer camp game show. Lots of water balloons. Lots of making out in a pool. Here we go. We'll veer off the Nickelodeon path for a minute.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch or play Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
I did. I played and watched, and I was never good because I'm a product of the Alabama public school system.
Yeah, it kind of did us wrong, didn't it? I was not very good either, actually. I kind of relied on the smarter kids from my class there were no geniuses, but there were some pretty smart kids, and they would know, like, where, Bolivia is. I don't know where Bolivia is. I've never known, actually. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
The video game was hard. The TV show was awesome.
It was really cool. I enjoyed the TV show a lot.
As a child, Rockapella is pretty much the greatest band.
They were your uncle. If you were 10 and you saw your uncle in his cool band, you'd be like, oh my god, they're so cool.
Yeah.
But if you were 25 and it was your brother, you'd be like, would you fucking get a job and get out of mom's basement and please quit playing your noise because it's driving dad crazy. To me that's what it always, looking back, that's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah.
You're like, would you please get responsible with your life? And he's like, man, let me have my music.
It's Uncle Joey.
Uncle Joey.
A bunch of Uncle Joeys got together and did this nerdy, acapella is already nerdy.
Oh,
then
yeah.
you had a bunch of guys singing about a fictional crime lady. It reaches a new plane.
And then they call themselves
nerdiness.
Rockapella because that's hardcore.
There's no rock in there.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Where in the world is rent coming from this month?
Right.
I don't know, Rockapella.
Them being able to sing "Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego" is the greatest thing that ever could have happened to Rockapella.
I think it's all possible. It was all made possible by Chief. Do you remember Chief?
I do remember Chief. I don't remember her in much anything else, however.
No, yeah, she was pretty freaking awesome. She was her name is Lynn Thigpen.
Lynn Thigpen.
She was, did you ever watch The Warriors?
I did.
She was the radio host. All you ever saw was her mouth.
She was the radio host?
Yes.
That's super cool.
You better watch out, Warriors, because here come...
Run home, Warriors.
Yeah, here come the boppers and these crazy baseball furies. I don't know. She knew all the gangs.
I like play-by-play gangland radio. She was really tied into the streets.
Yeah, how did she know? She was getting stuff quickly. We are very distracted.
Yeah,
this time.
My dog is behaving, unfortunately.
He's behaving. All right. Anyway, you've all seen Carmen Sandiego. You have the loot, the warrant, the whatever.
They'd always have some really kind of weird. Mini crook that was working for Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, the Pink Panther diamond's been stolen.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was Betty Ray and her...
Betty Rubble.
Betty
They got sued a lot because they would just take cartoon character names.
Hanna-Barbera had a standing lawsuit against him.
Yeah, Vic the Slick, I remember him.
Vic the Slick, that's right. They would have to solve a bunch of questions and figure out the crime, and then Vic the Slick would give them some cryptic answers about countries that nobody had ever heard of, and then they'd have to run on this big floor mat and put posts down on where those countries were.
Yeah, and it always made me laugh because these crooks are so quick to sell out Carmen Sandiego.
Oh my God, there's no loyalty.
No, not at all. I heard she's in Uruguay. It's like, all right, man. I didn't even ask. You saw me coming.
Panama. Okay, Panama.
Shout to Panama. Oh God.
Oh no, I was singing. I'm sorry.
That's his alibi. I didn't rat on you, Carmen. I was singing Panama. All right. So that's you had to be smart to play that.
Yeah.
And the kids on that show were genuinely pretty intelligent.
Yeah, it was
like a PBS production.
It was a PBS production. I remember that because it was on at a weird time and it was always fuzzy.
Yeah, it was fuzzy.
And I think they got contestants strictly from magnet schools,
which is the opposite of where the next show got their contestants from. They seriously just drug them out of a slum and hey, pull a heroin needle out of your arm, Billy. We gotta get you on the show.
I already know what it is.
Do you like video games, Billy? Do you? Not
Jesus.
Really. Okay, good enough. You're going to be the next contestant on Nick Arcade.
Ugh.
What a piece of garbage.
So let me explain Nick Arcade. Nick Arcade is where you get the 4 most idiotic, and you tip over a rock, you pull whatever 4 things are underneath it, you put them in matching colors, and then you get a host that constantly is on a hair's breadth from killing himself at any given moment.
He's checked out more than anybody I've ever seen. On a game show.
And it's funny because you can tell how much he hates his job.
Yeah.
One, through the mask of a forced smile that he's wearing. He literally just taped his cheeks up at one point. And with how much the producers let him get away with on screen.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he was
I'm
not saying that he was doing anything particularly grotesque or anything, but making up his own words to songs as he's singing over the title music, or
he's just doing anything he can to keep from going fully
absolutely insane. He's like that guy that has tenure. He's like, they're not gonna fire me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nobody else is gonna do this job.
It's there's a balloon of his the last bit of his I guess grounded
his professionalism.
His psyche is floating away, and he'll be like, oh, flibberty blooberty, he'll grab the balloon and pull it down. It's like, oh,
literally,
thank God I shouted that nonsense, because otherwise I would be gone.
Literally,
I wouldn't be part of this plane anymore.
One of the bad guys they had on the show was a cartoon medicine man,
God.
And he literally looked at the camera and went, "Ooga booga." Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I mean he's a black guy too.
Yeah,
you know
Phil
what I mean?
Moore.
So I don't know if it was him like winking at the camera and being like, "Look what I can do," or if it was a time where honestly people did not think this is racist.
It was 92. Nobody gave a shit. As much as we like to joke about the PC police and the hyper-liberal Clinton era 90s, nobody gave a goddamn.
Not at all.
Not at all.
I mean, I honestly, until you mentioned it, I didn't even think anything of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this guy's just nuts. But Yeah. So what this show is sort of like Video Power in that there were trivia questions not based on video games usually.
No, it was usually like there was a kind of a running theme on like, oh, now we're in the hidden volcano village, so it would be questions about like volcanoes and villages.
Yes, this giant thing that spews lava burned up a town.
Oh man,
what is it?
The easiest,
Starts with a V.
the easiest 3 questions that the easiest question they give you with one answer that was super wrong, one answer that was the right answer, and one answer that was more wrong than the first answer.
Yeah.
and nobody.
See, I've like, we watched a couple of episodes of this. There was more silence. Like there was more silence than actual question answer.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of
kids
there's
just
a lot of
stare
mouth
off
breathing.
into the camera, like their eyes are like one eye's like cocked halfway open, and there's drool and snot and all kind. I don't know. There was nothing going on upstairs.
It completely checked out. Like, I'm done, I'm out. And then Phil Moore just trying to fill 22 minutes of like.
Oh yeah, the guy's name is Phil Moore.
Yeah.
I don't think we even mentioned that yet.
I did, but it was in passing.
By the way, this nut's name was Phil.
Yeah.
And if you didn't think it could get any worse than the stare off into the distance,
just off in the middle distance, nobody knowing anything,
not say anything. It did get worse because sometimes a team would suck less than another one, and they would get to do a video game challenge.
Yep, you get to pick from 5 video games, maybe one of which you heard of,
Yes.
and then go and they literally just went into an arcade and were like, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one.
Xandar, Blogus, Blogus 2, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this, I remember one of the ones we watched. A girl was playing Legend of the Mystical Ninja.
Yeah, you had to. You have 30 seconds to collect $60.
Yes.
Oh, let me just throw all my money at the bad guys.
Okay, there's an attack where you can like throw coins that you pick up as weapons, right? And every time it like spins a coin, as if you're like throwing your money away. And she was throwing her money at these bad guys.
Yep.
And Phil was saying, "No, you're throwing money. Stop throwing money. You're throwing money. Ooga booga." And then she was just didn't grasp it. So at the end of the
What?
round,
Are you talking to me?
Had like $5 out of 60. Just I don't know. And then
it was
she
bad.
then she like looked like she like thought she won. She had this.
Yeah,
like,
she had a
look of
real
triumph.
sure look about her
Yeah.
at the end of it. And then
This is my favorite game. No, it's not. It's nobody's favorite. Well, no, I knew a guy who really loved Mystical Ninja. That was his favorite game.
I don't know. I never played it. I imagine it's a game I could get into. But...
It's really fun. If you ever played, River City Ransom, it's in that same.
Oh, is it? That's cool.
It's the very same vein where you upgrade your weapons and stuff and collect money and you power up and you don't. I don't think you like gain levels or anything in Mystical Ninja, but yeah, I think it's made by the same people.
It's cool.
But it's based on all the
Game in that same vein.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anyway, Nick Arcade. I can't talk about this. Well, you know what?
We missed one part.
We have to go over this.
Yeah,
right?
the winning team, the less losing team,
Yeah.
would have to go into this green screen area and then play a living video game where they had to watch themselves on a TV screen and try and do stuff, and it's just painful to watch. It's awful.
You can win that game as long as you're not a filthy slug.
Yeah.
All you have to do is walk a couple of steps forward.
Walk, duck, jump. Walk, duck, jump.
Yeah, you collect coins that aren't there, but you can watch yourself on a screen.
Yep.
Like,
They had a camera pointed at a green screen that they would superimpose a video game over.
Right.
And then they had hit detection boxes where you just touch stuff.
And I've never been on there, but I imagine it's pretty similar to what, like a, weatherman
doing the weather,
looks at when he is doing the weather. Yeah, you can, tell, hey, look, this graphic is about to fly down. I put my hand here and move along with it, and it's snow, but these kids just couldn't grasp it. I'm sure there were a couple that got it, but I never saw them.
I've maybe ever seen 2 or 3 ever.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm getting mad. Let's go on to the next thing.
What do you got?
The next thing. This is a little bit more fun. It has its fair share of idiots, but I think in the long run, it's a better show. This was Nickelodeon Guts.
Guts. I am such a huge fan of Guts.
Yeah.
Not for the game.
Oh, you just like the actual guts inside of a person.
Exactly. That's my medical background right there.
Entrails.
I love the insides of people. No, Mike O'Malley was my favorite host. Mark Summers is always going to be my favorite host.
Right.
But outside of Mark Summers,
yeah.
for some reason, Mike O'Malley, I always just seemed like I kind of want to have a beer with that guy.
Yeah, which I bet he would have a beer.
Oh,
with
absolutely,
I bet he'd have
he would.
multiple beers.
Absolutely, he seems like he could put them away.
Yeah, I mean,
but
he was wearing a baseball cap
and jersey
every
usually.
single episode. Yeah,
every single. I think that was the height. Well, it's funny because he was doing it. What's up, ISIS? That's ISIS, everybody.
I'm so hungry. That was my stomach.
He was doing a show called Get the Picture for a while.
Oh yeah,
where he was a real young man. And he had a nice full head of hair. He was in his early 20s at this point. Nice full head of hair, looking kind of skinny. And then at some point...
Oh, goodness. Happy dog.
Yeah.
You know what? Just leave it in.
Yeah, whatever. And then at some point... It's a big spike on the thing here.
Yeah.
At some point during the show, male pattern baldness, I think, started to hit him.
So that's when he started wearing hats.
He started wearing... It, like, there's a season where it's like no ball caps... break for the season, come back next season, ball caps all the time.
But see, I do the same thing. I mean, I am going bald, but I just wear the cap because I don't know, it's just comfortable to me.
I do the same thing. I like. I'm wearing a hat right now. Nobody's really gonna see it.
Yeah.
It's which it is comfortable. But I think for him, he was like, I'm on TV, and a lot of people are seeing me. And
do the audience a favor and hit the microphone with your cap to let them know. Alright, that's what a cap sounds like, hitting a microphone. So he did wear it.
I did.
The dog is clawing my foot.
Yeah, and she's like, pay attention to me.
So yeah, it was Mike O'Malley, and you remember...
Moira Quirk.
Mo, yeah, Mo. I had a crush on Mo.
Mo was sweet. She had that nice English accent and
I think that was
whistle.
What it was. Yeah. She did have a whistle.
He was the most spastic host for that show, just because he'd be explaining the game, and then Mo, because she was the officiating, the ref, had to explain the rules of the game, but he'd be like, and then they're going to climb up one of these sides, and they're going to hit a twitch and almighty aggro crag, and then we're going to take it to Mo. Go, Mo!
Yeah, I was going to say, that's actually a lot more eloquent than my impression. Mine is just this. Mo!
That's a better one.
Jamal has 14 points, Kevin has 32 points, and Cynthia is in first place with 60 points. So, okay, I know what's happening when Mo talks.
Yeah, that's not a bad one at all.
Yeah, she's keeping things in perspective. And so, they would go through physical challenges, which was good. Nickelodeon needed more of that.
Yeah, a little bit more of that, less active.
Less boogers, less video games, more kayaking. Short distance kayaking.
Yeah, it's like, we're going to put you in a pool. Go across it. Yeah. Okay, good job. A lot of those were really cool. Like, they had this downhill skiing event I saw in a couple episodes. Yeah. They had
jump ball.
Jump ball looked really cool. Like, we're going to put you on elastic bands, bungee cords essentially, and we're going to throw you around, and then you're going to play basketball. Good luck. Yeah. Go for it.
And then they had this one that's called Totally Tubular, which is, I believe that's a Mario World level. So
that sounds like a Mario World
level.
Why
that's in here.
Totally Tubular.
Vertoboggan, which is tobogganing, which, if you're from Alabama, makes no sense.
Yeah, just that thing you put on your head.
Yeah, how can you hat something? Well, besides hat a microphone, I guess. Yeah. But at the end of the game, I guess you would get points.
Yeah, based off your positioning and your time and all that.
And then you would face the aggro
awesome,
crag.
Mighty, glowing aggro crag.
Yes, which is this big piece of styrofoam rock that you climb up, and depending on how many points you have, I think you get like a higher starting point or something. Is that...
they put a lot more points onto the aggro crag, so there's more of a chance to catch up if you're super quick.
Okay.
But no, everybody starts at the same level. They have 3 identical sides that are all lit up by whatever color they're wearing.
They didn't do like a timed thing where like somebody had to like wait 5 seconds before that they could go. I don't know why.
I didn't see any of that.
Okay, so that might not have happened.
I only watched a couple episodes. They might have put that in at the end or something like that to make it interesting.
I'm just making that up right now.
Okay.
By accident.
But yeah, these 3 kids had to run up a thing, hit a bunch of buttons, and get blasted in the face with steel confetti.
Yes, pretty hard,
dude. I was reading a little bit about that. They had to change it out because they had these big air cannons that would blast this glowy glitter all everywhere, and then kids were just coming up and they'd have blood coming out of their cheeks and shit from just getting cut up by all this confetti hitting them in the face at high speed.
Something about kids in pain just makes
it's really funny. All for a pair of BK Nights.
Yeah, a pair of BK Nights. Hush puppies. You get your very own paddle for a canoe you don't own.
Guts did have the coolest prize.
Yeah, it truly did.
Like, win, lose, or draw,
actually, win only, right?
Win only, but because first, second, and third, everybody got a medal, which was super cool. You got gold, bronze, and silver. But the winner got to take home a piece of that awesome radical rock.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is the coolest prize. Like, I'd like to know a guy who has it so I could steal it.
You know what? I am very curious. Keep on talking about the aggro crag. I'm going to look up on eBay and see if anybody's selling their aggro crag.
Oh, man, I bet there is somebody. Let me know how much they're selling it for, too. A lot of fakes.
Yeah.
You said you made one, right?
Yes.
You and your friend, and that got stolen?
Yeah, okay. My friend Robin and I, she went to this party, and she was going to dress as a Guts character. So
right.
She, had the helmet and, the uniform and, the freaking knee pads and the...
That's awesome.
elbow pads. And we spent all day, one day, making this really cool styrofoam, glow-in-the-dark aggro crag that, it looked...
I'm already jealous.
I don't know. I was like, hey, I'm actually pretty proud of this. She went to the party with it. I'm pretty sure it got swiped within 10 minutes of her being there. She didn't know where it went, so I just took it.
All I would do is try and drink things out of it. Honestly,
Sure.
if I had it.
Wait, do you think it was hollow on the bottom or something?
I would make something it was the 90s, so somebody has it and they turned it into a bong.
Yeah.
Somebody else has it and they turned it into some way of a drink receptacle.
Okay, I like that. Somebody probably has a hat as well, right? An aggro crag.
An aggro crag hat.
Yeah,
That seems like a heavy. It seems like kind of a heavy hat.
Well, I guess to me it always seemed, I never felt one, but it always seemed like it weighed maybe a pound.
It looked heavier than it was, probably. Some of
Really?
that Universal Orlando magic.
Yeah, some of that Mark Summers styrofoam magic. I don't know.
That's staying in.
Nah, please don't. Okay, anyway. Nickelodeon Guts. Later on,
Global Guts.
Yeah, they kind of transitioned into Global Guts, where other countries got to compete.
I always thought that was kind of cool because it was neat to see, because they would do profiles on the kids.
Yeah.
From all the different countries.
And you'd see kids from everywhere.
Brazil and Russia, and I'm from Ukraine. This is my first time in America. It's really great. Love
Get
it.
out of here! Get out of here! We're America.
Which, by the way, you had pulled it up. Do you have it pulled up?
Yes, I sure do.
We got to know the medal count.
We regret putting, even having... I bet they're all like, oh, why did we do Global Guts? We thought America was going to dominate. America ends up in third place total, over the course of the show. We, didn't... Okay, first place over the course of Global Guts is the United Kingdom with 8 gold medals.
Yeah.
That's a lot, right?
Those pasty kids somehow are able to pull ahead.
Yeah. Which it looks like there were only 12 episodes of Global Guts.
I seem to remember a lot more.
Well, it says 12. Well, 12. I don't know. Maybe there's more than that. It just seems like there's 12 total trophies.
Okay.
For every country. So maybe you divide that by however many. You multiply that by 3 or something. That's how many episodes there were. Anyway, UK first place,
awesome.
8 gold trophies. Second place, Mexico with 7 gold trophies.
Okay.
Third place, lowly United States. I think this is right around the time we all started getting chunky.
Yeah. So
probably that's why.
We'd already hosted the Olympics in '94, so we didn't give a shit.
Sure. And there was no Michael Phelps yet. Fourth place, Germany. They were still reeling after WW2, so having some hard times. Israel. Tied with Germany for fourth place, which is kind of horrifying.
Yeah.
Spain. I'm trying to gloss over that. Spain. 2 gold.
2
medals.
gold.
Yeah. Portugal with 1, and then the almost Rans or whatever.
Almost Rans.
Is that what it is? Of Georgia, Kazakhstan, Russia, and Ukraine. 4 countries which I'm sure hate each other.
They just lobbed them all together.
Yes, 0 gold medals.
You know what's funny is there's probably one kid. All the kids who came from that area
also ran. Sorry. Go ahead.
There's probably a kid. All those kids that went and competed for that for the aggro crag were there so that they could bring it back so that Eastern European scientist could study it to see its content and its composition to see if they could somehow turn that into power.
They always want to turn stuff into power.
Well, I mean, because it's nuclear. It's an irradiated rock that they're trying to.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we could make something from this. We can. we power a city with it.
I just made a styrofoam guy.
They bring it back and they're just totally like, oh, Billy won. He comes back. It's great, and he has the rock. Oh, he's a prop. That's terrible.
I like how even in Russia,
they're still Billy,
their
man.
names are Billy in the 90s.
Anybody that was born in between 80 and 85.
They're always wearing overalls, like
Oshkosh Bagosh.
Billy from the Power Rangers wore Oshkosh Bagosh into his 20s.
That's sad. So
and
sad.
that's the first Billy I think of when I hear that name. All right, next up.
Shout out to David Yost.
Is that his name?
That's David Yost. Yeah.
All right. Is he still with us?
Yeah, he's still here. He's still around.
Okay.
He is he does a lot of the Power Rangers fan expos and stuff like that.
Oh no. He still does it?
Oh, dude, he loves it. He loves his fans a lot, and he has a lot of fun with it, like Comic-Con and stuff like that.
Well, that's good.
There's a big.
I just don't want him to be like Virgil Wrestling Superstar. You know?
Well, there's a big feud. Probably more played up than it is on the internet, but because the Green Ranger Tommy,
isn't he a colossal jerk?
He's apparently a pretty big douchebag now these days. He's got black belts and stuff like that, but and he's trying to do the MMA scene, but super conservative Christian kind of guy apparently.
Oh,
and
goodness.
David Yost is an openly gay man, and he said that he was getting a lot of trouble on the set from some people because of it. So
wow,
which sucks.
Well.
I always identified most with the Blue Ranger because I was an indoor kid growing up, so I was like, yeah, smarts over brawn,
Mastodon.
That was the Black Ranger. You?
Oh, hang on. What was his then? What was Billy's?
Triceratops.
Was it Triceratops?
No. Oh my God, I'm so wrong. Triceratops was the Yellow Ranger.
No, hers was Saber-Toothed Tiger.
That's right. No, it was the Triceratops. His was the Triceratops. It was Tyrannosaurus, Dragonzord, Mastodon, Saber-Toothed Tiger, and the Pterodactyl. Pink Ranger.
Dragonzord? That's not a dinosaur.
No, that was Mattel owning a thing and being like, how are we gonna get a dragon mech into this?
I know that like when they like made the movie,
yeah,
the first movie. Like they had zero clue how to do fight choreography.
Yeah, they had to hire people. like, we have to do this now.
Japan. What are we gonna do? So they like,
which is funny because in all the fight scenes from the show, like in all the scenes where it was them out of costume, is like we're walking around Southern California. Welcome to Angel Grove.
Yep.
Jump to we're in the Megazords fighting in the mountains of Yokohama, way out in the Japanese countryside. Like, when did this? Why are there? What? This looks nothing like California.
So, like, when they were going to make the movie, they were like, let's take half our budget and spend it on a skydiving scene in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
But it had the Red Hot Chili Peppers playing over it, so it was super cool.
And it was also super more expensive.
It was.
For that. Let's license real music.
People! Oh, wait, and let's not do an original Chili Pepper song that we can pay them for. Let's pay somebody to let the Chili Peppers cover that song, and then we'll put that song in.
Oh, man. Alright, so, Legends of the Hidden Temple.
My favorite. This is a great one.
It's a fun show. You kind of learn something. Not as much as I think as you would learn in Carmen Sandiego.
No, this is fake knowledge.
Sure, it's like, it's mostly based on, myth and...
Yeah, they'll pick some myth and make a loose story around it that they can base the episode off of.
The one that I remember most vividly is, if you could find the wing of Icarus who flew too close to the sun. That's the one that I most remember, because, I don't know. I guess I just remember that like feather. I guess it reminded me of Kid Icarus. Nerd. So this like sticks out in my mind.
Essentially, you had it was 6 teams that this show did not give a fuck about. Like people were dropping left and right on this show, which is what I liked about it so much. There was definitely some competition. Like before,
hey, you're gone.
In the first minute and a half of that show, 4 kids are going home.
Yep. Which, if Nick Arcade had that kind of cutthroat mentality,
I would never not watch it.
So much better.
It would be
because
great.
it'd be like, hey, moron,
I'm not
leave
stuck with
forever.
these. I'm not stuck with these
what?
4 stupid mouth breathers.
And
for the
guess
rest
what?
Of the show.
You're banned from Universal Studios for the rest of your life.
You have to go home now.
Like, as soon as they step outside, that same, the executive that held Mark Summers under the popcorn just like grabs him by the neck and just like holds her face into the slime fountain.
They have to go into the Jaws ride, but they actually get eaten by a shark.
Yeah, so and this is like back when the Jaws ride was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be a good way to go. You said, by the way, sort of jumping around really quick, that you actually visited where Universal Studios.
Yes, I did. Okay. So, Universal Studios, growing up, these shows were big for me because they were, I grew up in Mobile, Alabama, which is, 8-hour car ride from Orlando, Florida, where all this is going on. So, and I had been to Disney World before, and but I'd never kind of connected 2 and 2. So I knew exactly how far I was, so I'd always talk to my mom, like, hey, I want to go here. Let's go here. Let's go do this. I want to see this happen. And she'd always be like, all right, yeah, absolutely, next summer. And my mom, God love her, wonderful woman, very busy. She was working to keep me happy so that I could. I want to buy toys.
Yeah.
Some British Knights, Mom. I have to have the British. They click and they shoot lightning. I gotta have them. So I'd always be like, next summer. Unfortunately, next summer never came until I was about 19 years old. I went there on my honeymoon, which was fun. That was the first time I've ever been to Universal Studios.
Nice. It's a fun time.
Absolutely. So I'm walking around. I'm no longer married, for anybody interested, if you give a shit.
Anybody interested? Hey, yeah. we only do this podcast to meet ladies.
To meet women, yeah.
From Canada, apparently.
I have to say, getting into performing a podcast to get pussy is probably a lot like going into gynecology to get pussy.
Yeah.
It's just...
Well, except for at least with one, you're in the vicinity. Of
yeah,
that.
But
with us, I think no, it's not gonna happen.
So I go to Universal Studios, walking around, and I see a familiar building. It's not. It's painted differently, and if you're there, it's over next to the Springfield area where you have the Simpsons ride, and you have
I really want to visit that at some point.
It's pretty cool, actually. It's a lot of fun. But it's right to the right of that if you're looking at it. I remember that. There's this big building out there, and I was like, this looks fucking familiar. And it's the same studio building where they used to do all that. And now, I think they only use half of it, but they do the Bear and the Big Blue House stage production there. Live show.
Which, I don't know if that... I don't remember if you told me that show still exists or not, like the actual show. Does the show still exist?
My memory of it was that it was on for a while, and you would see it. Funny enough, you'd see it on the Disney Channel.
Yeah, I remember
I think it was on the Disney Channel.
I think so.
But I mean, I have no idea.
Okay.
That was something I'd like flip.
Yeah.
Bear, man in the bear costume.
Gotcha.
Flip.
Yeah. Okay. So they used to have a time capsule there. I remember being so excited about this time capsule from 1992 that we're gonna bury, and then an alien was gonna find it 500 years after humans died.
It's like Prometheus and Bob set up right there.
And he was going to kind of look at it and toss it over his shoulder, not really care.
Nope.
Because it was like a copy of freaking Breakout or something.
Slap wristbands. What do I give a shit about this?
Yeah, exactly. That would actually make me mad if I was an alien and I found that. I'd be like, I'm glad humans are dead. I'm glad they died long ago.
Just a thing of phloem.
Oh God! And it gets all stuck in the carpet on his spaceship.
It's just mad.
Yeah. Let's talk some more about Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah, Kirk Fogg was the host, and you had Olmec, who was a giant robot talking face, who was voiced by D. Bradley Baker, who is pretty prolific now. There's a lot of voice acting is such a small community, and if you're good at it, you're going to get a lot of work. So you've heard him. I know one of the things he does, and I'm pretty sure he's the legacy voice for Porky Pig.
Oh.
And so, any of the Looney Tunes movies that have come out, or TV shows or anything like that that come out in the last 10, 15 years, he's the guy who did it.
So he's the closest thing to Porky Pig at this point.
Yes.
He is Porky Pig, but you can still tell a difference.
Not really. He's super good at it.
Really?
He's pretty talented with it.
Well, I know that when Mel Blanc was getting old, and it was 70s or whatever, you could like hear his voice was all.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a change.
Oh God, no! And
but
he
yeah,
like got bad, and then like nothing was ever the same after that.
No. But no, he does a really good job, and all the other stuff he does. But D. Bradley Baker was also the voice of the announcer guy, which kind of threw me through a loop. So the same guy that was going, run into the tomb of the silver monkey, the shrine of the silver monkey, and complete the statue and move in to get Icarus' feather. And then he was the same guy that was guy. This week we have British Knights in it.
Well, hey, I mean, it shows that he has versatility.
Yeah, he has a lot of range. It's good stuff. He's a talented man.
So it was kids on different teams. We had the Silver Snakes,
the Purple Parrots, Orange Iguanas.
Yep. Red
Jaguars,
which is the dumbest of all the team names.
Couldn't have kept it
by far. Why not like what's another R name like the Rooks, the Red Ravens, just the Red Ravens, and that's kind of got like a temple-y vibe to it.
Was it the Green
Monkeys?
Green Monkey, yeah, it was the Green Monkeys.
Yeah,
I was thinking Gold Monkey.
Purple Parrots.
Last
one, I think. And so, they would all fight each other basically.
They race across the moat. All right, you two teams didn't make it. Bye. That was the send off. Like, oh, you guys suck. Bye.
Get out. Never come back. Yeah. Drown you in the slime fountain.
And then we'd tell you a 3-minute story, and then you have to answer questions based on it.
Yes.
Like any other reading comprehension kind of thing.
Sure.
Who can stomp on the other kid's foot faster?
It's pretty funny. They were stomping, weren't they? And then is that the part where they would like climb the steps?
They would descend the steps.
They would come down the steps?
Yeah, there was 3 steps. You had to step down 3 steps.
Oh,
and they started wide at the top for 4 teams, and then you had to whittle your way down to 2.
So this is sort of a reversed allegory for current, I guess the way to make it in American society.
Yep, be faster to get down the stairs than go up them.
Yeah, get that welfare, son. It was like that.
Live off the government.
Yeah.
I always had a fun time with because they had some really good, because at this point they'd compete in like 3 different physical events to see who would get to go into the temple at the end of it, and they had some pretty good ones. Like I remember there was one where you had to run down a length of floor, jump off a trampoline, and then try and pull stuff that was clinging to a cargo net that you had to climb up and grab and get down, which was pretty fun.
It's pretty cool, which is almost like a guts type challenge.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of physicality in that.
Yeah,
but then the winning team had to go into that fucking temple.
Okay, and what you would win before going into the temple is pieces
totems
of like a medallion pieces, and when you put 2 medallion pieces together, you got an extra man.
Yeah, it was a 1-up.
Yeah, so you could have 2 full total medallions, and that basically gets you through the temple, because there are only 2 temple guards, I think, in the whole thing. And so, there are 3.
Are there?
Yeah, because one you would give a token to, one would capture you,
and then one
the
for
third
your
one could take your
partner to get,
Yes. And so, basically running through this temple, solving pretty rudimentary clues.
Yeah, it was like 8 rooms that you had to try and they would set this item up at one point, and then you had to try and work your way through the temple to get to it. And then when you grabbed it, you had to run out really quick to get the big prize.
Very few kids won this one, but at least they put up a fight.
Yeah,
I feel.
A lot of kids did. Now some of them, you're just like, Kirk Fogg's to the left, just trying to tell you what to do. He's like, do this, do it. You're not doing it.
Get out of the ball pit. Get out of the ball pit.
You're going backwards.
Oh my God, he's suffocating in the ball pit. Somebody drag him out of the ball pit.
The ball pit's just littered with dumb kids.
Billy died. That counts as a temple guard getting him. Now, Jenny, go in there and finish what he's done.
Make it happen.
Yeah. And so she has to finish the rest of the thing.
She has to run through and try not to.
As if her brother didn't die in the ball pit. She's like crying, but still really wants to solve that golden monkey statue. For my dad. Yeah. That's pretty fun little game show.
I enjoyed that one a lot. That was there was a lot going on with it, and that's the one I kind of remember most fondly.
Yeah, and I believe Temple Run became an app
based on it
later. I mean, honestly, it's called the Temple Run.
It is called the Temple Run.
Like I can't think of any other things besides like that scene in Indiana Jones / UHF that had
Can we do an episode on VHF one day?
UHF? You said
Wasn't it VHF?
No, it was UHF. Uh-oh. Let's look this
We're
up.
gonna check this out. All right, man. IMDb, here we come.
Hey, man. I'm still your friend, even though you got this one wrong.
I probably do.
It happens.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. It's UHF. That's right.
Earlier, man.
The fact that I've seen that movie more than once, though, gets me points.
Yeah, which is fine by me. I mean, earlier I said almost ran, which is nothing.
That's true.
So, and plus, listen, I'm gonna do another little drop here for Golden Monkey.
Yeah.
Tell you, last time we did this, we were drinking that Golden Monkey. We got wasted, right? It was great stuff.
It was really good.
Right?
Delicious beer.
At the same time, we were a lot more kind-hearted and fun and jovial last time.
Yeah, we're both in that situation. We're doing this on a Monday night, and we both have shit to do tomorrow, so we're like, fuck, we can't put that one out.
I feel bad being so negative, especially towards poor Phil Moore. You know, it's just.
I think now we're okay. So it's last call, and we're looking around the bar, and there's that one chick. We've been kind of like, I don't really want to do that, but all right. And then the next morning you see her. I think we're the morning after. We're like, man, maybe it wasn't as great as we thought it was.
Well, it could have been one of those deals where you try to talk to her, and you're a belligerent mess, and then she leaves, and then you have to walk home drunk, and then you don't remember how you got home.
That's true.
That's happened to me.
That's never fun.
It was a sad evening.
It's been a fun night, but where am I and who are you?
How am I not dead? All right, Legend of the Hidden Temple. Let's mark that off the old list here.
There.
We're coming around the home stretch. We have a couple more here.
What do we got?
What would you do?
What would you do? Also hosted by Mark Summers.
Also, just a big show about pies.
Really, it was just a showcase for pies.
Exactly. They had. Okay, I'm not 100% clear on what the rules were, what the game was.
It was really just this was one of those things where they were really big at the Universal Studios in Florida, and this was the entire audience and all the participating people. It seemed like were people they literally just pulled off the road and were like, "Hey, come watch us do a TV show. Maybe you get to be in it."
Yep. So hey, this whole show takes about $80 to produce.
Yeah.
All we have to do is buy 10 cans of whipped cream. The chairs are already here. You guys just come in.
It's like a barber chair with fly swatters on strings attached to it.
Yep. And so, hey, we're going to ask you some questions, get you to do some wacky stuff, and then we're just going to slam pies in your face for a half hour as hard as we can.
Pretty much,
yeah. You will bleed. And that's what would you do?
It was just kind of a like, what can we do to make people seem wacky? And then they'd film it, and it wasn't really a good show at all.
No, not. I mean, Mark Summers made it watchable, I feel.
Yeah, he's a good host. He's a really good host.
Yeah, he really is. He seems genuinely into it, even if he loathes it.
Absolutely.
He might not loathe anything.
Yeah,
beyond germs,
dust,
or touching people, or going outside, or feeling the sun's rays on his skin.
Well, he's not in fuck.
Every time I saw him, he was wearing a burqa.
Are you sure you ever seen Mark Summers?
I think so. What?
He's not Howie Mandel. He just doesn't like a mess.
Gotcha. Let's see. They had the Pie Pod.
The Pie Pod.
Remember the Pie Pod?
I do remember the Pie Pod.
The Pie Pod involved pies.
Yes, it did.
That's all that I can remember.
Was that the chair or the coaster?
I think the chair.
The chair. That's right. It was you had 4 catapults that you could set pies on, and then the audience would be like, "Hit up with 4." They could tell you how many they were going to do, and so it'd hit you with 4 pies, and then they'd pour slime on your head.
Each pie would hit you with 600 pounds of pressure.
It was like a punch from Ali.
Yeah, pretty much. So they were just slamming pies. Oh, that's such a funny image.
Broken noses.
Yeah, half the people were just unconscious in the chair, but they're still getting hit by pies. The first one knocks them out, but it's like
the other 3 just break their face.
Yeah, and so wait, and then they got covered in slime after all that.
There's a bucket above them that they would dump stuff onto.
Oh, why would they do that?
And there was the pie coaster.
Yeah, which was pie slide.
The pie slide where you sat in a roller coaster and went down 15 feet, where you just ran through 3 big pies.
I like the pie pendulum.
Pie pendulum.
Which I'm pretty sure if it got close enough, it would chop your stomach.
Yeah, it was the precursor to a saw trap.
Yeah, exactly. So I think a couple of people had their guts splattered out across the floor.
They cut away.
And then
that's why they dumped the slime, is so you can't see the blood.
that's what it was. And then like a funny, the PA would come on and squirt the guts with pie cream.
Look how wacky we
It's
are.
pie themed guts. Pie in the sky. Pie roulette.
Fart noises everywhere.
That's where they shoot you with a pie bullet. Pie wash. That's where
I picture like two kids reenacting that scene from Deer Hunter. You gotta play the game, or they're gonna throw you back into the ball pit again.
No.
You don't want to be in the ball pit because you'll die in the ball pit. Just play the game. Christopher Walken kid has to hit himself in the face of the pie a couple times.
God. Hey, you were right. There was a pie coaster and a pie slide.
Oh, was there? Okay.
Yeah, which might be the same thing, just different names.
Potentially, I don't know, man.
I don't
There's
remember.
what can we turn pie into?
So, okay, let's skip over the rest of this because it's all pies.
Yeah.
Like
pies.
how much can you do with this?
Nickelodeon's pie showcase of pies.
Yeah, Nickelodeon's, we have a massive excess of pie filling. Please, let's do something about it. Help us. Mark Summers, help us. Make some more messes. You're contractually obligated to make more messes for us. All right, moving on.
What do we got?
1997.
1997.
We're getting towards the...
I was 8 years old.
The end. You were 8 years old?
Yeah.
Man, I'm so old.
This is the same year that Batman and Robin came out. Or was it Batman Forever?
I don't know. I don't know.
One of the two Schumacher Batmans that never should have happened.
I'd imagine Batman and Robin, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad that you knew that. Figure it out.
Figured out. Man, Summer Sanders.
Summer Sanders, that's my
First love.
first love, yeah.
Behind Denise Richards.
One of them, yeah. She was an
97 was a good year.
She was a swimmer, right?
She was. I think she was a swimmer.
Swimmer.
I remember seeing a shampoo commercial where she was getting out of a pool.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would ask a bunch of celebrities, and I say that in quotes.
It was people from other Nickelodeon shows.
That's right. And then it was there was a kid, there was a contestant
that had some kind of talent
or
something.
Invented something.
Yeah.
It was always like, I invented a watch that runs backwards. Okay. All right, Billy.
I remember, I have the world's longest rat tail.
Oh, God.
So gross.
We didn't mention rat tails earlier.
Ugh.
We had an entire segment.
That's right.
On
all the
Video
kids.
Power.
If you watch Video Power, honestly, if you watch any of these game shows from '94 back,
Yeah.
mullets and rat tails, just awful
That's it.
hair.
Occasionally a ducktail. I had a ducktail because I was
Did you?
classy. Yeah.
We both grew up in the South, and so we're both used to that. And now when we see pictures of ourselves with our terrible hair,
yes.
we're just like, oh.
Yeah.
Although,
pretty much.
God bless him, my dad was from Massachusetts, and my mom was from Kentucky, and my stepmom was from California. None of them ever let me have terrible hair.
I bet the Kentucky part of her was like, please let me get him a rat tail.
A little bit of her probably died when I couldn't get a rat tail, but yeah, I'm so glad I never got one.
Okay, very lucky. Summer Sanders hosted the show. The kids always had some talent. You would have celebrities like Pete, like
Young Pete,
Little Pete,
Lori Beth Denberg,
Danny something is the kid's name.
Danny Tamborelli. Yeah,
Danny Tamborelli. Lori Beth Denberg was on there.
A lot.
Who were these celebrities? Like they were brief.
You had to if you didn't watch Nickelodeon, you didn't know who you were looking at.
Yeah, exactly. Every once in a while, they would have like one real actor.
They'd get, we were able to get one of the Backstreet Boys or something like that.
We got Jerry O'Connell, fresh off of his stint on Sliders. Here he is.
Which we might have to go back and do an episode on Sliders.
I used to love Sliders.
Sliders was the only reason I ever wanted sci-fi was so I could watch Sliders.
Yep. Well, see, I never watched it on Sci-Fi. I always watched it when it was like on prime time,
like WGN
Fox.
and stuff like that.
No, actually, like
was it Fox?
If it like first came on either like ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, one of those 4 channels.
It got tossed
and
around a lot.
And then it got canceled and went to Sci-Fi. Kind of like MST3K from Comedy Central to Sci-Fi.
That's right.
So, yeah, they would have an occasional celebrity, and they would take turns trying to figure out what this kid did. And guess what? If they didn't figure it out,
it was like playing 21 questions. Like you had to ask a bunch of yes and no.
Yeah.
Did you invent a thing?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Did you use strawberries and whipped cream? I guess like dirty.
Yeah, they would a lot of times they would let the kid win.
Yeah.
They'd just be like, all right, hey. Yeah, the producer would be like, we have to have more winners on this show.
Yeah.
Ask dumb questions.
Yeah. Well, I guess they had a different set of producers than
than everything
Nick
else.
Arcade
Yeah.
did, because they were like, no, ain't nobody winning. Give them
We're
nothing.
sitting on these prizes, son.
Yeah. I don't remember a lot of this show. This is like towards the end of my, I guess Nickelodeon era. You said that you were 7 years old, 8.
This is about when I was watching this kind of stuff. But I mean, there wasn't really a lot to it. It was we're asking people stuff and then we're figuring other things out.
I was like 13 or 14 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much.
I was pretty much done with Nickelodeon. I was moving on to like.
Well, this is when Nickelodeon was done with Nickelodeon because this is right when all that was wrapping up, and then I think the only cool shows going on at that time were like The Secret World of Alex Mack or anything like that. But so you had all that, which was always amazing. The Roundhouse had already ended. They had finally quit subjecting kids to Nick News with Linda Ellerby because nobody gave a shit.
I think she's still kicking and still doing news.
That's
somewhere.
Cool. I'm sure she was. As an adult, I'm pretty sure I could appreciate the work of Linda Ellerby. Yeah. But as an 8-year-old, I was just like, the news. I don't care.
She was the Kurt Loder of
the
Nickelodeon
Kurt Loder
news.
of Nickelodeon.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we're done with the quote-unquote game shows.
That was the decline of Nick.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah,
that was when it was ending.
It was over. Well, then, a couple of years later, SpongeBob popped up and saved the network.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all they do now is cartoons. Because they have that. They do Adventure Time, right? That's Nickelodeon?
That's Cartoon Network.
Is it Cartoon Network?
Yeah.
Okay. Not Adventure Time. Avatar. I know they did Avatar.
Yeah.
So they had a couple of cartoons. I'm not a big cartoon watcher anymore. So
just the adult-oriented ones.
Yeah.
I'm also secretly a brownie.
Oh, are you really?
I'm not a brownie.
I was gonna knock over the microphone and just walk out.
We're done. We're done here. No. No brony status here.
Well, here I have a couple of things that didn't qualify as game shows.
Okay.
But I felt like we should mention them.
We'll wrap up with that. What do we got?
Okay. The first one, you've seen these kids and you've been jealous of these kids and you've been infuriated by these.
I know what you're going. Yeah.
Kids. Did you ever see the Nickelodeon Super Toy Runs?
I was super jealous of every kid that ever got to do the Super Toy Runs.
I was so mad I got the Super Toy Runs. I had to. You run to the toilet and you're just shitting G.I. Joe figures or something like that. That'd be great. I was like, man, why couldn't I poop out a
Snake Eyes? Yes.
Yeah. So the kids, you'd always get so mad because they would like run by and like knock over like plush animals.
Again, it was one of those situations where a little bit of planning could have gone a long way.
Yeah, exactly. Have they not ever been to a Toys R Us before?
Seriously.
Like, we all know how Toys R Us was in the 90s.
Yep.
You had a big section of electronics, but there were no electronics out. They had these little cards with the name of the game or whatever on it and the price.
And you would take that up to the front
where they had all this stuff in like a big closet.
Locking case.
Yeah. And so the kids would not just run out there and start throwing. I'd have had
armloads of Sega Genesis right there.
Exactly.
Man.
And you know what I would do?
Pretty good stocking stuffers.
I would just keep them so nobody else could have them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sit on it and let the market price raise.
Exactly. And well, no, like even like when it like raised, and I had like a
just build yourself a box for it, a Sega Genesis.
Yeah. I just
this is look how much fun this is to play. Too bad you guys are never gonna get to.
Yep. I have a rat tail. You know.
Oh man, Zero Tolerance came out. This is gonna be great.
Comics Zone.
Jesus. You knew it was extreme because they spelled it with an X.
Yeah. They did spell it with an X, wasn't it? Did Kevin Smith have something to do with that? There was some comic book artist or creator.
I knew it was like a big comic book artist that had a lot to do with it.
It might be Kevin Smith.
I just remember that dude had a pet rat.
I think he had a rat tail too. Not a rat tail. He had a ponytail.
Ponytail, but he had the sides of his head shaved.
Yeah. Let's see. Originally from a concept video animated by Peter Morwick. I don't know who that is.
It'd be funny if it was like a Todd McFarlane game.
I swear there was like some big name involved with this.
Can't help but think there'd be a lot more exposed breasts and semi-quasi rape. Todd McFarlane had something to do with it.
Yep. Or if it was, if it was Kevin Smith, he would just vamp about Superman for an hour and a half or something.
That was the Tick video game.
Yeah. The Tick. We can do some stuff on the Tick at some point. But anyway, I don't think Kevin Smith was involved with it. Somebody was. Not really gonna look it up because that's not what this is about.
It's a video game.
Yeah. Anyway, I remember the kids would occasionally get like a Barbie doll for.
Yeah. And something from a little sister,
something for sis.
so she doesn't cry.
And my friend Sarah actually knows a guy who was one of the kids on the Super Toy Run. I would love to talk to that guy.
Am I 3 degrees of separation from somebody who did the Toy Run?
I think you are.
That's super awesome.
Yeah. So I think that entitles you to a third of his toys.
He's got like a broken hockey stick that he picked up at one point.
That's mine. That belongs to Stu.
Jesus.
3 degrees.
I'd be interested to see. We should get that guy a beer or something. Just see if we can loosen him up a little bit about it.
I mean, I read an article that he was interviewed for recently.
Like the local paper or something like that.
No, it's actually like an internet blog, like
cool.
big internet blog type thing.
Where are they now? Child winners of the 90s.
Like that. He seemed like a pretty cool dude, down to earth. Anyway, Super Toy Runs. All right. This last thing, a little bit more obscure. Not many people. I don't think people freaked out about this quite as much.
Supermarket Sweep.
No.
Okay.
Which I love that show.
That's a fun show.
Yeah. Nick or Treat.
Nick or Treat. Okay. I do remember a little bit of this.
Yeah. This was a game show where you send in a postcard months in advance or something to Nickelodeon, and then they proceed to ruin your Halloween by making you stay home on Halloween night and wait by your phone just in case Nickelodeon calls you out of 2 million kids that send in postcards. And you answer the phone if they call, and you say, Nick or Treat, and it's always like, Grandma calling again. You know what I mean? Like, you just, stop calling Grandma, what if Nickelodeon calls? And, I don't know, this is, in retrospect, this is the worst idea imaginable.
Let's keep kids inside.
Yeah.
Was this hosted by Stick Stickly? Because I seem to remember that.
I mean, there were multiple ones. The one that I, really freaked out about, it was, 1993 or 4 when Real Monsters was a deal.
Stanley Ipkiss gonna call? Not Stanley Ipkiss. That was
Stanley Ipkiss is that's the mask.
That's the mask.
Yeah. Smoking. Stanley Ipkiss, why are you calling me?
Hang up. Nick might be calling.
Yeah. Stanley Ipkiss calls you. You're looking for Ickus to call, but Stanley Ipkiss calls you. Yeah.
That's what I was trying to
Stop calling the mask. I'm waiting for one of the Real Monsters to call me. And what you do is they call you. And on the TV, which I guess you can't watch and play. It's one of those dishes where you're friggin' delayed.
Yeah.
That you can't know what's going on. They'll say, hey, there are 3 doors in front of you. Which door do you pick? And you're like, the right door. So you're just a game of chance.
Hoping you get something.
Yeah, a game of chance to win prizes. And oh my god, I freaked out over this for some reason. And
I'm curious to see if D. Bradley Baker had anything to do with Real Monsters.
He might. Let's see. Hosts for the show were Radar the Bat. Don't remember that.
No.
Joey the Werewolf. A hunchback person. Pumpky the Jack-o'-lantern. Pumpky's the most lazy name.
That is a pretty lazy name.
And Fred Newman. Hang on. Who's Fred Newman?
That's a good question. That seems like one of those who's like, oh, he's going to be the next Tom Cruise, and then he just never made it.
Oh, okay. He did voices in Roger Rabbit, Doug. Let's see who he was in either of those. I do not know.
Lacey Shea Bear was on that show. Real Monsters.
Was she?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
She was one of the voice actresses.
Who was she?
Girl/kids is what she's credited as. So she was just background stuff.
Okay.
This was before she had
Wild Thornberries or whatever, wasn't that her?
Was it?
Yeah, she was the main chick on Wild Thornberries.
Was she?
Yeah.
Oh my god, she was.
Yeah.
She's so hot. Why would Why would she be that?
You just got physically upset.
Dude, it's so weird. I remember because 1998 happened and they did that remake of Lost in Space with fucking Matt LeBlanc and Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman was
and William Hurt.
Yeah. William Hurt.
And I want to say it was the kid from Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, the guy that played Will Robinson.
Yeah.
Was it Frankie Muniz, maybe?
No, the young brother
the young
from.
One? Honestly, I haven't seen it since.
But she was the middle sister.
Yes.
And I had a super crush on her as a young kid, and then like growing up, I just never connected that was the same chick until I saw Mean Girls, and I was like,
yeah,
I love you.
And she was the voice of Meg at the very beginning of.
Yeah, she did one episode or something like that.
Yeah. Anyway,
Lacey Shea Bear, if you're listening, call me.
She's the one listener from Canada.
Please.
I don't think she's Canadian, but still.
Please email me.
Anyway, I'm sure this is some of my friends who are more voice talent connoisseurs will tell me who this Fred Newman guy is. I know he's not the voice of Roger.
No.
But so anyway, he was one of the people who was a host as well.
Okay.
And so, waste your Halloween. Nobody calls you. You cry.
I don't remember
you don't
Stick
get any
Stickly.
candy.
Okay.
Well, Stick Stickly did some.
Yeah, he did a lot of Nick stuff. I imagine.
Yeah, that's stuff. Do you still remember his address?
2828 or something like that.
You can sing the song in your head and it helps.
I can't think of it.
It's the Right to Me, Stick Stickly. P.O. Box. See, he was poor. He had a P.O. Box. It's P.O. Box 963, New York City. And plus, New York City, man, he's the size of a stick. You know what I mean?
That P.O. Box is his actual. That was his apartment.
House? This is his apartment.
He lived in a P.O. Box.
I like that, actually.
Well, I mean, he's a popsicle stick. There's plenty of room for him.
Yeah, it is. But he would have to lay down though. He couldn't stand up, even for a popsicle stick. So it's probably terrible on his back. Anyway,
he used the
10108.
I'm surprised you remember that. That's pretty good. He the only thing I can remember is Carrot Top yelling at me to do 1-800-CALLATT.
Yeah.
He would use the envelopes as his wallpaper.
Wait, that's like his house?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's poor, man.
That makes me sad. But then he got all buff.
No, not Carrot Top. Stick Stickly.
I thought you meant the Carrot Top.
No, Carrot Top.
Envelopes as wallpaper.
Carrot Top has a weekly show in Las Vegas. He's doing fine.
Okay, I like to think that at one point he was so terribly. He was doing so poorly that he had to use. Envelopes.
He was using. They sent him all the leftover posters from chairman of the board, and that's what he was living in.
Yeah. Oh God. Chairman of the board. I never saw it. Actually,
it's not great.
My all that I know about it is that Norm, McDonald, Conan O'Brien thing.
Yeah.
Which was pretty classic. Anyway, that's about it for game shows.
Yeah, that kind of wraps it up.
Yeah. At some point, if you guys are interested, we'll put up the raw audio if you can hear.
Yeah, we'll do a very special 10th episode where we'll actually do a real episode and include that also or something like that.
And whatever. This was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good to go back.
That was a different kind of.
That
fun.
was. We'll put it up at one point.
When
we have like an actual website where I don't have to meter how much time we have to upload it.
And hey, guess what? Do you want to tell them what our Facebook address and our email address and all that stuff is?
Do. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or better yet, ideas, show ideas. We're kicking around a bunch, but if there's something you're super passionate about and you really want to hear us talk about, or if you want to join us in talking, because we're going to have a rotating third chair coming through here.
Yep.
Go to facebook.com. We're the ReBrew Podcast. We're up there. You can email us at the rebrewpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. We are not the Hebrew podcast.
And we're not
that's
the Hebrew.
A different thing.
That is us still, though, but that's something we do on Saturday.
Yeah. That's. Well, we do not work on Saturday.
No, we don't. We record that on Friday specifically.
Yes.
But it's write to us. Let us know what you think. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, we love getting feedback.
We enjoy interacting with you guys. It's fun.
Let's see. This past week, we had a couple of people who wrote in. We were just asking if people, had any fond memories of kids' game shows. Our friend Corey Jones, everybody knows Corey. Corey and Scott. Corey said, I used to think I could never be on Nickelodeon Guts because I didn't have an awesome nickname.
Yeah, I do remember watching that show and thinking, man, these kids all have super cool nicknames, and not, realizing, they're just giving it to them for the show.
Yeah, they don't have those real nicknames.
Yeah, I'd always be like, I'm Stu, but you guys should call me Raptor from now on, so I can, if I'm ever on Guts, I can make sure they call me Raptor.
Oh, and then, hey, guess what? That guy was on Guts. Good thing we called him Raptor. Man.
That guy was thinking ahead.
He nailed it.
He was planning.
my name is Tink, and I'm gonna be on Nicotreat, so start calling me Snacks. He was like, oh, we call him Snacks because he's fat, not because he.
We don't call you Lunchbox because we like you.
Yeah, Scott Howard, who we called last week.
Oh yeah, we'll put up the audio for that definitely.
Yeah, hopefully you can hear it.
We assaulted him on the phone.
Yeah. He said, Family Double Dare had to destroy at least a few families.
Absolutely. It's just like we were talking about. There's that one dad who's like super into it and trying to win. Who's like, God damn it, Billy, give me that $5,000.
Yep.
I got a mortgage to pay.
Yep. And that's when he was off the booze for a couple of months. He was doing well.
going back there and just dealing with that shit.
Double Dare brought him back down. Man.
Having to wade through that popcorn pool.
It always comes back to the popcorn pool.
Yeah, dude, that was the worst part for me. Like I just got back from a movie and I ate popcorn and I had to think about like, okay, when was this popped? Did I get to see them popping it? Kind of thing. So
that was like worse than like the fake butter on pancakes to you.
I don't know. That's true.
Because they had to like stick their hands. Like
they would make some pretty weird
wrist deep into fake butter made from God knows what.
We're gonna mix like custard and pudding and instant oatmeal mix,
it's
and
been
then
sitting there under those hot lights for hours.
But it's also been stagnating because it got made like the day before.
Yep.
Ooh, that would be bad.
So that could also destroy.
None of it's good. None of it's good.
Yeah. All right. Well. Next time on the ReBrew podcast,
we are going to be talking about the Mad Max series.
Yes.
Robin is going to be joining us for a little bit of a, I'm not going to say a feminist perspective, but she is my girlfriend. She's wicked smart, and she's also very academically inclined, so she's going to help bring an iota, a modicum, if you will, of intelligence into this broadcast.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of ideas that are verging on the verge of smart, but they're not quite there. So
we don't
really
have we don't have the vocabulary to put it into the light of day.
Not at all.
I have a feeling that she's going to add some actual gravitas to what we do here. So
and I think that's actually a good idea because I mean it's topical. We just saw the new movie,
wonderful movie, but we'll definitely get around to talking about that.
Yeah, we are going to go back and look at the original 3 movies as well.
We actually watched the first one last night. So
nice. How did you feel about it?
I enjoy it. It was the first time she's seen it. This is going to be her first time watching the originals, I think.
Yeah.
So
well,
it's been fun.
It's my first time as well. So.
Is it?
Yep.
Man, I didn't think I was the only guy who'd seen it. But yeah, my dad introduced me to Mad Max at a pretty young age.
Nice.
So it's something I'm looking forward to. Yeah. Join us for Mad Max coming up next weekend.
That should be next Sunday or so.
Sunday and Monday is usually when we're trying to put them out. Yep. I'll be putting this one out on probably, what's today, Monday?
Today's Monday.
So I'll be editing and putting this one up on Tuesday night just to keep you guys happy.
Okay.
But thanks so much for joining us, you guys, and keep coming back.
I've been Tink.
I've been Stu.
And this is the ReBrew podcast.
Oh, yeah. Do you have it? Do you have it? Drunk.